You want to make sure that when you're doing this type of music, you need to have your bass notes follow the chords. What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and ProducerCourses.com. Don't forget to sign up for Producer Courses. Get your premium membership. It is 50 cents a day. Also, don't forget to stop by CMP Kits. We're going to be using chords from the Rod Wave chord pack available on CMP Kits made by Bluff God. We're doing kind of like the Jupiter's Wave, more like a synth bass, but still have those typical Rod Wave elements, the guitar, the piano, just backing that up with a pad. And we were able to put this whole thing together with just three simple chords from a preset from Scalar 2, right? So check this out. If going to my Scalar, we're using these chords from the Beautiful Mind chord pack. It's just a 1-7-6 walk down. But if you look at my session, each one of my MIDI patterns, it's just chords and bass notes, chords and bass notes, even the melody right here, which is the guitar melody. If we go in with one of the backing tracks, the piano, you see it's all built off of chord tones, and that's probably the most important thing when building like a Rod Wave type of vibe. Some of these pain beats and what have you, it's not going to be like really tense and the way that you would on a more typical trap beat. You're going to be just following, all of the tones in the chord to make your melodies, right? Here we started out with the piano. And I got this tone out of Analog Lab, the piano. This is the 1982 preset. This is the new Piano V3. Didn't have to do anything to it. It's just a really good tone coming out. And I find that, if I get a good tone from a preset, you don't really have to go nuts and, try to make it your own sound and everything. You kind of just let the music do what it has to do. We stack that with a pad. This is the Distorted Beauty pad from Prophet VST out of Arturia again. This is the new version. This is probably like the strongest thing that if you're going to try to do the Jupiter Diary type of vibe, you're going to want to back either your pianos or your guitars up with like a spacey type of pad. This is a saw bass again from Analog Lab. This is like a whole Analog Lab song. This is again just following the root notes, doing an intro before the 808s. It just gives you more patterns to work with, and it's done a lot on on this actual project. It seemed like something that TNT was trying to like niche into and kind of go, give this project like still have the same Rod Wave vibe, but give it a different signature than we're used to. And when people release, so many projects over the years, like I don't know about you guys, but I appreciate, that effort of not just giving us the same thing over and over again, showing evolution in the music. The next thing that we did, we're just getting our $10 worth, our arcade subscription using Hooked. I mean, this is a go-to. Don't feel like, oh, it's overused, I can't use it. People use it because it works, right? A lot of the stuff in Hooked, what you're going to find is that it's more like pitch low to like, I don't know, like make a Brent Faiyaz type beat or something. If you just go here and click this octave up, you'll get more of the chipmunk vibes that you're used to on these type of beats. Sending that to a hall reverb in my template. Now you'll notice that we've got those vocals like panned hard to the right. In order to fill out the spectrum, what I did was I took this ample guitar Luther, went ahead and put this preset from Guitar Rig. This is called the Atmo rotor. Whenever I find a preset that I like, I always just mark it with one of these colors, so that way I can go back to it, because there's so many presets, and the browser inside Guitar Rig, like, it's good, but it doesn't always work for me. So I like to have those colors, like my more atmospheric type of stuff, rotating, like movement. I make all of those orange. More of like vibey, reverby stuff is pink. So you could come up with your own method of doing this, but that's how I can move around fast and get the tones that I want. Um, for this, you'll notice if you look at the chords, something should jump out at you, and that's that there's two root notes in these chords. This is guitar voicing. I'm able to get guitar voicing, and this is one of the reasons why I keep scalar in my template. If you go up here in scalar and you switch from, it'll say like no voicing or whatever. If you go to guitar voicing and then you drag and drop, you put your chords down here and you drag them onto the screen, you'll get this, right? And this is important because when you write guitar parts, if you just write a triad like you would, if you were using like a BusyWorks Beats chord code or something like that, it's not going to sound like a guitar. But when you do this, you have the actual order of the notes that a guitarist would strum them. When you see somebody playing a guitar, they don't just strum three notes when they do a chord, right? They strum down every string on the guitar, and the notes that are omitted, that's comes from what they're doing on the neck. Yeah, you always, when you're writing guitar parts, you always want to have, even if you don't have scalar, put two root notes in there. And what they do is the first and the third will be grouped together, and then the first and the fifth will be grouped together. It'll change the way that your guitar sound. I've got that rotating. It's panned all the way to the left. That way we get a nice full mix on everything. Going into this next pattern, I had the chords, and I was just using the cut tool to snap these together. Just going with a real simple melody. 1 2 3 4 5, strum, 1 2 3 4, easy. When you're writing guitar melodies, remember you're writing something that a guitarist would play. So you always see like people just click in, these single notes, but at some point, when somebody's actually playing the guitar, even if they're just picking through the notes, at some point, just because of the training that people have on the instrument, there's going to be a full strum. And you want to kind of keep that in mind. You don't want to write this like it's a pluck or a bell. You want to write it like it's a guitar. And one of the things that's going to be convincing is adding, these short strums and long strums into your melody. You don't just want to have the whole melody look like this. I mean, this is really important. That is all of the that's all the instruments. For the drums, I'm using the industry slap kit from cmpkits.com. The only sound that isn't from industry slap is this clap snare, BWB's kits. I think this is one of the wave kits, and it's just I've just never made a clap snare and put it in a pack before, so I just use someone else's. The 808 that we're using is the round 808. If you know what you're looking at, you know that that's the Spins 808. Also in the industry slap kit, because the industry slap kit is built for the sounds that you will hear on rap beats in the industry, right? So it's those actual sounds taken from the records to make doing this type of vibe easy. And if you're set on like, hey, I want to make a rod wave beat, or I want to make this guy's type of beat, you got to use the drum sounds, like being creative with the drum sounds in, and then making a tight beat. It doesn't make sense. You got to lean into it, because that's what the rappers are listening for. I'm just following the chords. You see this, walking it down. C. So you got the 1 down to the 7 down to the 6, and you want to make sure that when you're doing this type of music, you need to have your bass notes follow the chords. If you don't, like if you just go like you're making a OZ Drake type of beat and you're just using the root note of the scale, something is going to sound off, and that's because the biggest one of the biggest trademarks of this style is having a bass line that follows the chords. It's what backs up the emotion and allows the artist to want to get into that zone where they can write these types of songs. Now with the arrangement, we're working with 6 patterns. The intro is just with the saw bass. Move into opening up, and we're just no kick, no 808, but we bring the guitar melody in. Then I move into what I call like hook 2, and this is just for me, like I always when I'm putting this together, this is all of the sounds pretty much in the beat, as far as like the 808, the kick. This is like a big energy section. This one I actually didn't put the guitar melody because whenever I put together a hook, I want those 2 patterns to be, similar enough so that you know that it's a chorus, but different enough so that you've got variation in the beat, right? This next section is what we're calling the verse, and to make it stand out, I just took the pad out. The next pattern, we do a drop on the first bar. This section here, the choice to chop the melody like this, it builds anticipation because you're used to hearing the melody being played one way and you don't hear that last strum. You're waiting for it, right? Um, and that's just cutting off the last resolving notes of a melody when you're getting ready to transition it like back into the hook or something like that. It's because you notice I don't have kicks or 808s here, so there was no room to do like a drum drop. Having that, that the listener want to hear that when you go and you bring back, your hook part, and then they finally get that satisfaction, that's going to trick their mind into wanting to listen to more, right? And that's what we're doing when we're arranging beats. We're trying to um give the listener's brain enough of a puzzle to listen to so that they don't get bored with the experience, right? And then just to get the full arrangement, all you got to do is just take hook 1 up until this last part, duplicate it out. You've got 89 bars of instrumental that you can take and give to an artist. Uh, they can go ahead and write the song, demo it. You could send this to a writer, get a hook if you really want to sell the beat. If this had a hook on it and you send this to somebody, they put their 2 12-bar verses on it, and this thing's ready to go. So you can hear how good that flows together, whole song. To wrap it up, First thing, CMP kits, Beautiful Mind chord pack, easy to build out these types of beats. Just using the triad voicing and the guitar voicing, it's gonna get you right in that wheelhouse. The rest is up to you to just get your spins 808, throw the rack kick on it, get yourself a clap snare, put a groove to it. 162 BPMs is gonna work every single time, man. It's just a CMP with producercourses.com. Keep it simple, but do not be basic, and we will see you on the next one.